students. So we have already started our fourth chapter, that is the human body, and in that we have already started the digestive system. Okay, so we have already done the introductory part for digestive system, and if you all have remembered, we have started the alimentary canal. Okay, so what is alimentary canal? Alimentary canal is nothing but a canal or a pipe that extends from mouth up to anus, isn't it? So with that we have discussed the oral cavity. Okay, the first part in the alimentary canal that we have discussed, that is the mouth or the oral cavity. Okay, so what all are the things that we have discussed in mouth or in oral cavity? In oral cavity we have discussed about so many parts present inside the mouth, that is about the teeth, tongue, about the glands, that is the salivary gland, and if you all have remembered, then we have also discussed about the different types of teeth. Okay, so this is all about the mouth or oral cavity. So today let's move to the next part of alimentary canal, that is the pharynx. Okay, so today in this video we will discuss about pharynx, oesophagus and stomach, and after that we will move on to the next parts. Okay, so here again if I will show you the alimentary canal, then you can see here the first part in the alimentary canal is the mouth. Okay, then after mouth we got the pharynx. Okay, then oesophagus, then stomach. Okay, so here one by one let us discuss. Mouth already we have done, or the oral cavity, that we have done already. Today we will discuss pharynx, then oesophagus and stomach. Okay, so let us discuss it one by one. So let us start with pharynx. Okay, so as I have discussed already, that after oral cavity we got the next part in the alimentary canal, that is the pharynx. What is pharynx? Pharynx is the connecting link between the food pipe and windpipe. Already I said. Okay, it connects both nose and mouth. Okay, so here we will discuss about the structure, location and function of all the parts one by one. So if we will talk about the structure of pharynx, what is the structure of pharynx? It is a wide muscular tube. Okay, it is a little wider in structure and it is made up of muscles. Okay, it is not so hard, or we cannot say it is we can say it is made up of muscles or soft things. It is not made up of hard bone. Okay, so that's why we can say it is a wide muscular tube. What is the location of pharynx? It is present posterior of the oral cavity. What is posterior? Posterior means backside. Okay, just after oral cavity, or we can say that after the back of oral cavity pharynx is located, not in front of oral cavity. And here also I have written the opposite of posterior. We can say it is anterior. Okay, anterior means front side, posterior means back side. These are some of the terms which you need to understand and remember in bio. Okay, and there are also so many other things like somatic, visceral, then dorsal, ventral, that all terms we will discuss one by one. Okay, gradually when the terms will come, that with that we will discuss all that terms one by one. Okay, so here in location it is written posterior of oral cavity, means the back side of oral cavity. Okay, if I will ask backbone is present next to our body, you can say posterior of our body. Okay, and if I will ask you nose is present next of your body, you can say anterior of our body. Means anterior means front and posterior means back. So here if we will discuss about the function of pharynx, it is a common pathway for food and air, because already I said, if you all have remembered, it is the connecting link between food pipe and windpipe. Okay, so that's why it serves as a common pathway for food and air. You can see here in the diagram by the side, pharynx is the connecting link between the nose and mouth. Means both the windpipe that comes from nose and the food pipe that starts with oesophagus or by the ending of mouth, it separates from the pharynx. Means pharynx gives rise to windpipe and food pipe separately. Okay, so here this is all about pharynx. Just remember the structure, location and function and some of the terms that we have discussed. So let us move on to the next part, that is the oesophagus. What is oesophagus? Oesophagus is nothing but the food pipe. If you all have remembered the diagram that I had shown you while discussing the alimentary canal, this is the third part in the alimentary canal. The first part already we have discussed about the oral cavity. The second one is pharynx, already we have discussed. And the third one is the oesophagus. Oesophagus is nothing but the what? Food pipe. Okay, food pipe is only known as oesophagus. If we will discuss the structure, location and function in details, then we can say it is a muscular tube. Okay, as we have discussed in pharynx, it is a wide muscular tube. The same we can say for oesophagus. Remember, this structure is not given in your book. Okay, it is a muscular tube. Okay, it is made up of soft muscles. Location, it extends from pharynx to stomach. If we will talk about the location of oesophagus, then we can say it extends from pharynx to stomach, or we can say it connects pharynx to stomach. Stomach is the next part of our discussion. Okay, so if we will talk about the alimentary canal, then at first we had discussed about the oral cavity, then pharynx, and now we are discussing about oesophagus. So after oesophagus, the next part in the alimentary canal is stomach. So oesophagus is the intermediary link between the pharynx and stomach. Okay, so here look, in location we can say it extends from pharynx to stomach. Next part one is the function. It is made up of longitudinal and circular muscles which helps in pushing food down into the stomach. So what is this longitudinal and what is circular? See, here if I will draw, then here suppose this is a muscles, then longitudinal muscles runs in length. This is longitudinal muscles. And if we will talk about circular muscles, so here we can say circular muscles runs in a circle. Okay, so this is the circular muscles. Longitudinal means along the length. Okay, so this is the difference between longitudinal muscles and circular muscles. I think you got clear. So here in function we can say its longitudinal and circular muscles helps in pushing food. It got both longitudinal and circular muscles which helps in pushing food. Which food? Which we have taken in the oral cavity. Okay, so what is the work of oral cavity? What is the work of mouth? Mouth is the first or primary source of digestion, already I said, because we take food in mouth only. And when we engulf that food need to go to stomach. And who will play, or which part of the alimentary canal plays an intermediary between the pharynx and stomach? That is the oesophagus or the food pipe. So the movement of food in the food pipe will be easier by the longitudinal and circular muscles. Okay, and do you know what is the movement of food known as? The movement of food known as peristalsis. We will discuss it later on. Okay, here I am not discussing that one. So here the movement of food will be smoother by the help of longitudinal and circular muscles. And do you know, in the oesophagus there are also some mucous glands which makes the food slippery. Okay, these things not given, that's why I had not written it, but you just remember oesophagus also contains the mucous glands which makes the food slippery so that it can pass along the oesophagus little smoother. Okay, so this is all about the structure, location and function of oesophagus. So you can see in the diagram, oesophagus is the connecting link between pharynx and stomach. Okay, so let us discuss about the next one, that is the stomach. So here stomach is the next part of the alimentary canal. So again and again I am repeating, the first one is oral cavity, the next one is pharynx, then oesophagus, and then stomach. So what about the structure of stomach? It is an expandable J-shaped sac-like structure. What is expandable? Means which can be expanded, which can be, if you will take an example of suppose balloon. If you will put air inside the balloon, then what happened? The balloon will expand. The same here, expandable. Stomach is expandable. It is made up of such a kind of muscles which can be expandable. Okay, and remember, there is a limit of expanding our stomach, so we should take food in limits, isn't it? So it varies from age. Means small children, their capacity of taking food is lesser than the adults. Okay, so expandable means it can expand to take the food. J-shaped, already we have discussed about the shape of the stomach. Okay, like this we have done, if you all have remembered. Okay, this is the shape of stomach, so it is somehow J-shaped. That's why we can say it is J-shaped. Sac-like structure. Sac-like means something which can hold. We can take an example of polythene. Okay, so something like a polythene only. Stomach is just like a polythene only, which can hold the food that we have taken from the oral cavity, and that is pushed by the oesophagus. So here we can say the structure, it is an expandable J-shaped sac-like structure. Sac means, remember, something which can hold. Location, it is present left side of abdominal cavity. As we have discussed about oral cavity, what is oral cavity? Means the cavity of mouth is known as oral cavity. What is abdominal cavity? The cavity of abdomen, means our belly region. Okay, that one we can call it as abdomen. So the left side of our abdominal cavity is stomach. So what is the position or what is the location of stomach? It is towards the left side of abdominal cavity. Sometimes some may ask you what is the location of stomach. Don't say it is in right. Okay, it is towards the left side of the abdominal cavity. Okay, next, function. It contains gastric glands which secretes gastric juices. It is very important. It contains means the wall of the stomach contains gastric glands. Okay, what is gastric gland? It is a gland. Already we have discussed about glands, and I said what is a gland? It secretes something or an organ which secretes, we call it as gland. It may secrete enzyme, it may secrete hormone. Okay, so here stomach contains gastric glands which secrete gastric juices. What is secreted from gastric gland? Gastric juices. What about gastric juice? What are the content of gastric juice? So we can say gastric juice is the combination of hydrochloric acid. We can say HCl. Hydrochloric acid already we have discussed in chemistry. What is the formula of hydrochloric acid? HCl. This is hydrogen and this is chlorine. Okay, so hydrochloric acid is the main content of gastric juice. And do you know what is the work of hydrochloric acid? Sometimes when we are taking food, sometimes we may take germs or like bacteria and all. So these hydrochloric acid helps in killing that unwanted particles which may harm our body, which is present inside the food. Okay, so this is the main work of HCl, hydrochloric acid. And sometimes we got acidity. Okay, some of us, or you might have heard about acidic problem, like some of our parents may have. So what is acidity? The increasing rate of hydrochloric acid. When we will not take food for some times, means if we will be in empty stomach, then the release of HCl may make our stomach acidic. Okay, so that's why we should take water at regular interval, so that our stomach should not be acidic. During fasting, it is suggested to take more water so that our stomach will not be completely empty, and the amount of hydrochloric acid or the amount of acid will not increase in our stomach. Or sometimes when we will take some oily food also, we may find difficulty, or we may find irritation in our stomach, irritation in our chest region. That is the acidic problem. Okay, so HCl is a very important content present in the gastric juice. It is no doubt, it is very helpful in killing the germs. But by the same time, if we will not take proper food, if we will not take water in a proper amount, then the acidic content or the hydrochloric acid, its content may increase in stomach, which may lead to acidity. And remember, hyperacidic condition is very dangerous for our stomach. Okay, regularly if we are facing the acidic problem, then we should get rid of that problem, or else in future we may find difficulty. Okay, next, it has digestive enzymes. Already I said a gland may secrete enzyme or it may secrete hormone. Okay, so don't get confused about glands. About glands you will have in detail in your higher class. That's why I am not discussing more about glands. So a gland may secrete enzyme or it may secrete hormone. So this digestive, gastric gland secretes the digestive enzymes. And what is the work of digestive enzymes? Obviously, they digest the food that we have taken, means the complex food that we have taken, that is broken down in the stomach. Already we have discussed which part is the first part for digestion. Mouth. Remember, it is not stomach, because when we are taking food, we are crunching that food, and with that only the process of digestion starts at our mouth. Okay, so never write stomach is the place for digestion. If in question it will come, dex is the first place for digestion, you can write mouth, not stomach. Okay, stomach is the second place, because after crunching or chewing that food, when we will push that food through the oesophagus to the stomach, next work is done by the digestive enzymes, which will break down that food. Okay, means that complex food will be again broken down. Okay, now in infants, who all can be categorized under infants? Means children below 6 months, we can say them as infant. So in infants, they got another digestive enzymes that are pepsin and renin. Pepsin and renin are the most important two enzymes which are specially present in infants. And do you know what is the work of that pepsin and renin? Whenever we are talking about infants, means can you guess what may be the work of pepsin and renin? So what is the main food of infants? Obviously milk. So pepsin and renin, they helps in digestion of milk. Okay, that's why in infants, just below 6 month old, okay, we can say them as infants. So as you know, below 6 month old babies, they are mandatory to take milk. Okay, they feed on mother milk. That's why pepsin and renin are two important enzymes which helps in the digestion of milk. Okay, so here this is all about stomach. So we have discussed today all the parts that we have discussed. Again, I am repeating what all we have discussed. We have discussed about pharynx, we have discussed about oesophagus, and we have discussed about stomach. So all these things like structure, function and location, we have discussed about what? Pharynx, then oesophagus and stomach. So go through it in details, and in our next class we will move on to the next part of our alimentary canal, that is the intestine part. Okay, intestine, small intestine, large intestine and anus, that part we will discuss in our next class. So till then, just revise the topic, and I hope you all get clear about the today's topic. Again you go through the topic, again you learn, try to understand the structure, function and location. If any doubt, you can again ask me, and I will surely clarify your doubts. So in the next class we will move on to our next topic. Till then, goodbye and thank you.